G'day and welcome back to Fly Fish Live, the exhibition match between Markus Ersbjörs from Sweden and Kirk Lewis from Colorado, USA. My name is Josh Walker and we have a brand new look to Fly Fish Live with a new Headcam which will add to this tournament. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button on our channel, make sure you go and click it now and give this video a like. Also, just to let you know, if you want to interact and have fun with us during the game, so you can comment and chat with us during the show. If you're on your phones, top right hand corner, you got 3 horizontal dots, and just click on those dots and it'll drop down menu will come, and just click on open in YouTube and that'll direct you down to the chat box and you can interact with us. So we want to say a big shout out to our sponsors for this game, Piscari Fly. Check them out. If you need some top quality flies, be sure to get in touch with them. They also have a whole range of fly fishing gear to suit your needs. Also shout out to Icon Fishing Products, Syndicate, Vision Fly Fishing and Gibflix. Thanks for being on board for this match. We also have a special guest today in the commentary box. It was a big hit with the viewers for the first series. He's part of the Australian fly fishing team. He's brought to us today by Gibflix, all the way from Victoria, Australia. Please welcome Tom Jarman. Tom, how are you, mate?
I'm very well, Josh. A little tired. It's early in the morning, but looking forward to seeing some fish caught. Awesome.
Well, it was great to have you back on the show, mate. And I know the viewers are excited to see you back here. Let's head straight over to Kirk. Kirk, how are you, buddy?
Good.
Good, man. So where are you fishing, and what's the name of the river?
We're fishing on the Roaring Fork River on the western side of the western slope of the Rockies,
Yep.
just a little bit north of Aspen, Colorado.
Nice, man. And we have a little surprise for you today, a special piece of memorabilia for this exhibition match, which is part of our Fly Fish Live team for Series 2. We have a cartoonist, and I'm very pleased to say he's my uncle, an absolute legend. His name's Dave Gibb, and he's drawn a picture of you today. Let's take a look. Absolute ripper. We'll send it on to you, mate. Now, if anyone wants a copy of this picture of Kirk, just get in touch with us via email or drop us a comment or send us a private message and we will be in touch with you. So we'll let you head off, Kirk, and get ready. And Markus, we'll head over to Markus. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good, man. And where are you fishing today?
Fishing in Dollar River.
Yep.
Area. Middle of the field, a bit south.
Nice.
It seems like it's very good conditions.
Yeah, nice. Cool. We also have a little surprise for you today from the legendary Dave Gibb. He's also drawn a picture of you for today's match, so let's take a look at that one. Another cracker. We'll be sending this also over to you, mate, in person. And if anyone else wants a pic of Markus, just get in touch with us via email again on fishcoin@gmail.com, or drop us a comment or send us a private message and we'll get in touch with you. All right, so we'll let you go and get ready, Markus, and we'll get this game underway very quickly. Tom, who do you think is going to win out of this, out of looking at these two rivers?
It's it's very hard to say. I fished that region in Colorado, and there's a lot of fish. And we've got limited time today, so it depends how quickly Kirk can find them. How big his fish are as well. I mean, I'm not sure. I think Markus, and maybe his controller can correct me if I'm wrong, there may be grayling up through that section of river he's in. So he may be able. Yeah, so grayling, he may be able to get onto some quicker. A little bit smaller, maybe. I think he said earlier they've been around the 30 centimetre mark to 40. So he'll be able to get those in quite quickly. Kirk on the Roaring Fork, Rainbows, Browns. He's got some mountain whitefish there, which pull really hard. So it'll depend on his fish size a little bit, but it'll be quite interesting. And it'll depend what water they head to. That'll give us an idea of the size of fish and, you know, how they're trying to fish and what they're looking for. So we'll find out very soon.
Cool. All right, we've cut this one into the 30-minute game. Cut this one in half, so we've got 30 minutes. It's going to be a go for it. It's are you guys ready?
Yep.
Yep. All right. I'll count down from 5, and then I'll blow the whistle, and away we go. All right, we ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Away you go. So I've got the time here, and remember to yell out fish. So at the moment we've got Markus's head cam. Kirk's head cam had technical issues, and
so I mean here it'll be interesting to see what Kirk's going to do instantly. But by the looks of it, Markus going across and down for a start. Yep. Trying to cover water quickly. You can see he's fishing up into that pocket there at the moment, into that seam. But
yep.
I mean, he's moving. You can see they're both moving quickly. Time's of the essence, so they're literally trying to cover water really quickly and just, you know, get onto a fish. You'd think once Markus finds the water type they're in, he can catch them quite quickly.
What would you be? What would your tactic be there? Looking at that river, would you? In Sweden, I mean. Is that
Sweden? I mean, so if he's fishing at grayling really love the induced fly. Grayling like, I mean, they like a dead drift, but they do love that fly, like sweeping up, coming up in this, that sort of motion. They don't mind it on the swing as well. If you're in shallow enough water, that is. So you can see he swings some out there at the end of his cast. So, I mean, very similar to what he's doing, just trying to cover water, nice drift upstream, get it down, a little bit of animation, maybe jigging the flies, inducing it, swinging it, and then move on.
Yeah.
You'd think you're going to catch them, like, you can see he's moving through it quite quickly. You're going to catch them early there. You should be catching them in your first few drifts.
Would you?
If that's indeed what the river's like. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
See, Kirk, I'm just looking at there. He looks like Kirk's down in the tail out there. So there may be, I mean, we've got shallow water on our side. He may be fishing into a deeper gutter on the far side. It's kind of hard to see at the moment.
Yeah.
They're both nymphing by the looks of it. You can see Kirk pushing up there. You can see they're covering water. They're not wasting time. It's all about, you're expecting to catch your fish within the first few drifts.
Yeah.
And if they're not there, push on. It's very, very, I mean, you're never going to catch all the fish in a river, put it that way. No angler, no matter how, you could be the best angler in the world champions. Howard Croston was on here. There's so many great anglers out there and no one catches all the fish. So make life easy for yourself and catch the easy fish. You don't need to muck around trying to catch the really difficult ones. Go find the easy ones and that makes your life easy.
Yeah. Down there with Kirk, he looks like he's fishing some slow water. Is that right? Or he's fishing back this way?
Yeah, he's in that softer, that flatter stuff you'd expect. I mean, he looks like he's in knee-deep water. I'd expect he's fishing into some deeper depressions. Like the water all looks quite uniform.
Yeah.
I may be wrong, but it looks quite uniform, but you'd expect he's looking for depressions. He's looking for some change that you often can't see on the top there.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows he's from Denver. He knows the area really well, so he knows the river really well.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd think he would be making his way up. I'm not sure what time of year. So we're looking at middle of summer. So, you may find that those fish are sitting a little deeper. Like they're not, they're not in that super skinny stuff. But he, like, as you can see, he's going to cover a lot of water there. And he'll come to a point when he starts catching them, you'll see him slow down. Like he's moving very, very quickly, as you want to be. He'll catch a fish or two and he'll settle right into his rhythm.
So do you think he's chasing those Colorado whitefish over there, the salmonoid Colorado whitefish?
I don't know. The one thing about whitefish is they call them the Rocky Mountain bonefish. They pull really hard. They like fight within an inch of their life. They're quite hard to revive, actually, after you do catch them. So, if you can find whitefish, typically school up the. He's hooked one there.
He's on. He's what? Fish for Kirk. Kirk's on the board.
There we go. And nice, like that is a lovely sized compfish.
Yeah.
Not too big, not too small. Too small, like high risk in coming off. Too big, takes a lot of time and there's more risk in landing it. You know, he can go around a rock, a log, or just chew up time and take you out of position. So lovely fish to catch for a start. But you see now, he started down the bottom right in the tail. He's fishing into deeper water now. You can see he's wading a little bit deeper. So the main current looks like it's coming down on the right-hand side there.
Yeah.
But, back to what you're saying about the whitefish. Look, the whitefish, they at times do school up. So where you catch one, you can catch a few of them. But I would expect any fish is a good fish, no matter how big or how small. But I think he's just going to fish through the nice looking water and he'll just pick them off consistently going up through there, I reckon.
He'll basically stay in that one position possibly until he doesn't. Has he got another one on there, or is that just a net dragon? It's a net dragon. Fish for Markus. Both on the board, one each.
There we go. So it'll be interesting to see here if Markus kind of settles in. He looks like he's actually, from the bank camera, he looks like he's just off the edge of that main current, that main run. You can see the water on the head cam. It's got some fast, more turbulent water, and then it's a bit softer on the other side.
And when you're casting and stuff like that, you're aiming to hit the middle of that faster water, or you want to get just onto the side of it?
You want to get onto the side of it. So you can do it a few ways. You can, if you have a seam, you can cast into, or a pocket, an eye, you can cast into the middle of the slack water and get it down and then drift it through quite slow. You can cast it in there and you can almost encourage it back onto the seam, or you can fish it straight down the seam. And usually you're going to do kind of a combination of all of them. He's got one there.
Got another one. Fish for Markus.
It looked very grayling-like in the way that fish kind of came towards him.
Yeah, nice fish.
Yeah. So you see kind of what we expected at the start there.
Yeah.
Like, comes to a spot, finds one, picks off another, hopefully he can find another couple there. That's his main advantage compared to Kirk. You see Kirk's covering a lot more ground in between fish. Caught that fish, pushed on, and, he'll keep moving and keep trying to find them.
And Kirk's controller's going to have to put the skates on, I think.
Yeah.
Trying not to fall in the water.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
It's amazing. It's almost worse walking over rocks like that in super shallow stuff than being in the water itself, because you've got you've got nothing holding you down. You're just like falling over these mini bowling balls all over the place. At least if you're partly in the water.
And it's 55 degrees and I'm in sandals, so.
Oh, there you go. Kirk didn't give you some wading boots or waders there?
No.
Oh, you might have to have a word to him after
How
the game.
inconsiderate.
I'm going to find me a nice bottle of wine after this.
There you go.
There we go.
Markus is he still in the same spot there?
Yeah, it's still in roughly the same area. You can see there on his bank cam. Just he's pretty much working straight. His wading line, you can see the line he's wading on. He's just going straight upstream, fishing that seam the whole way up. So, a lot of the times when you're on a big river, one of the best ways to cover water is to grid it. So you actually stand here, fish up, and fish up, and then you take a step across and fish up again and then across. So you're kind of gridding the river like that so you don't miss anything. but he obviously knows they're going to be not in that super fast stuff. He thinks they're going to be on the seam, so he's just pushing through and fishing the high percentage water. See, Kirk looks like he's coming more towards some more broken water there at the top. So
Fish.
I think he's fighting one there, is he?
Looks like it. He's fighting one there.
Yeah.
It's in the net.
Nice. Fish for Markus.
Fish.
Yep, fish, gotcha.
Nice. A lovely, same sort of water. Grayling there, I think it is.
Yeah, I think most of those. Grayling. Yeah.
They're such a grumpy looking fish, grayling. When you take the fly out of their mouth, they've kind of got that down mouth, so they always look like they're frowning at you, like, oh, done it again.
Is that Kirk on? So we got just under 20 minutes, 19 minutes and 50 seconds left.
Fish on.
Fish on.
Kirk's fishing a lot deeper now. He's riding almost more like the main run there.
So obviously there's a deep hole out there which he thinks they're going to be sitting in.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a willow or something, but clearly that run obviously drops in, hits that far bank, and where he started was like way down the back end of that long kind of run and glide.
Was that fish in the net?
I think he's fighting one.
It's K. Lost
No,
him.
it's
Lost him.
come on.
Got some struggle in the net with the line, I think.
Okay.
It tangles in some way. At least it looks like that from the shore.
Yeah.
Just readjusting that there.
Over in Colorado there, I think the water temp was quite warm. They had a quite warm summer, I think, from speaking to Kirk. That plays a big role in if the fish bite or not.
Yeah, it can make it tough. Sometimes they, like in a context over here, when you get those really hot summers and that.
Fish on.
There we go, Markus has got another.
Fish in the net for Markus.
Nice small one. You get they feed. They always concentrate their feeding in those like cooler parts of the day. Maybe morning, maybe evening. Middle of the day is a bit tough. When you do have to fish at that time, you're looking for that more oxygenated water, that more broken water. If you're leisure fishing, you maybe head further up the system into the mountains, seeking that colder water. But summer, you're really looking for like that deeper water, maybe some shade, more oxygenated water there. So some of that nice broken moving stuff.
Yeah.
And like hot weather typically means like low rivers as well. So fish a little bit touchier. So your approach, your tippet, you're going to go down in size. Your flies, you may fish them a little bit drabber. Like instead of fishing nymphs, say, with hot spots and like bright tags and really bright beads, go quite subtle. Like just really bring it down. You don't always need a hot spot or a really bright, flashy component to your fly to get them to eat it because they know it's food. So, really driving it down can help fishing plain.
With this Euro nymphing style that they have, especially that I can see that Markus is doing there, is for tips for people that have never done it, never tried it. What is the aim? Like, do you cast upstream and try and keep the rod tip going with the flow of the water, or what's the main thing?
Well, I mean, the good thing about that technique is it's so versatile. You can do so much with your nymphs. You can swing, as you saw Markus earlier. You can fish them across and swing them like you would fish small like wets or nymphs or soft hackles on a conventional line. So you can swing, you can fish upstream. But the key thing about it is your contact to the flies. So you're always relatively tight to your flies, so you can feel what's happening there. And because you're tight to the flies, like that's why you're actually seeing typically when the people are fishing short, you're seeing the colours and they're leading the flies down.
Yeah.
Did we miss something there?
Not sure.
So you're typically seeing like the rod tip following them down because they're just trying to stay tight to those flies. And that helps with your take detection. But what it also does, it gives you the ability to animate your flies. So you can be following them down, you're tight to them. And then when you lift your rod, you can lift your nymphs up and you can jig them and you can animate them, which is really important at times. But the beauty of it and the main reason the technique is so good is because you're not tethered to that surface film. So you have an indicator that is above the water here, and then you have fine tippet cutting through. So finer the diameter of tippet, the less surface area, the less water is going to catch that. So you get very little drag and a very natural presentation. So if you were to fish a dry indicator, that's going to be on the surface. So that's always going to be moving at the same pace as that current on the surface. So by having an indicator above it, it just gives you a really good drift.
What sort of tippet size do you use in this sort of water? What would you be putting on?
I default to 0.10 millimeters in diameter, so 7x. Yeah. That's an absolute staple. The great thing is tippets have gotten so much better. Hooks there's a fish for Markus.
Fish for Markus.
Yeah.
We've got 14 and a half minutes to go.
14 minutes.
Yeah, 14. So the rods that you see, like all these anglers using 3 weights, 2 weights, maybe a 4 weight. The reason for those lighter rods is that tippet protection. It allows you to fish that fine tippet, and that fine tippet cuts through the water well, and it gives you a really natural drift. So it all kind of works within the system that you're fishing a light rod that will protect light tippet. If you're fishing a 5 or a 6 weight with that lighter tippet, when you strike or when you play the fish, you're likely to break the tippet because it is quite light. So it all works together. So, I mean, grayling often eat the fly very softly. You'd expect to be fishing quite light for them, tippet-wise. Kirk, I mean, those rivers there have some bigger fish. So it's always that balancing act. Do you want to, finer tippet typically gives you more bites and more opportunities. But if you're going to lose them because the tippet's too fine or break them off, it's not worth doing it. So it's about finding that balance there. Like you may want to fish a little bit heavier and guarantee that you're going to land those fish and forego some of those ones that won't eat because of the tippet or you'll miss. So yeah, I think Kirk, maybe like that 6 to 7x range, maybe 6x, very typical of America.
Yep. Now we see the score is at 5-1 at the moment, but this means was that fish on? Markus? Yep, there we go, fishing for Markus. So we saw scores. We saw people in the last series get out to like, I think it was like 10 or 12 fish in front, and then it came back to like even score within 2 or 3 minutes. So
yeah, so I remember the Santory one where he was fishing against the bloke from the French team, whose name's escaping me. That one was very much like that. Lionel, yeah. And that's the nature of the one thing you know about fishing is that fish are evenly distributed unevenly. So no matter how you look at it, they're always going to be patchy. So even though we all say location doesn't really matter, we like to say that, it does matter at times, or it often matters because the fish have to be in front of you. So, and they move around in the rivers. So if you find them, you can catch them very quickly.
Yeah, we've got just under 12 minutes left. 11 and a half minutes.
11 minutes.
So in Kirk's situation here, would you be just pushing and like just keep pushing around until you find one, or would you be?
It's such a hard one because I mean, if he was missing, he may have just been unlucky or doing it tough. He might have missed a few, so that we don't know about.
What was that one?
There?
Uh,
I don't
Markus
think
has
so.
one.
Marcus got one on.
Oh, there he's hooked one there.
Yep, there it is.
Oh, it's in the net.
In the net. That looked like a nice sized grayling.
Nice fish. Yeah, I mean, the hardest thing for Kirk is his waters. You can see Marcus's water's a lot faster. Kirk's water's a lot slower at the moment. And when you're in slow water, we can all imagine it, picturing they're making a cast upstream. Whoever's fishing the faster water.
Fish on for Kirk.
There, he's got one.
Looks like a bigger fish.
He's netting him there.
There's a fish in
couple
Oh, there it is. Fish in the net for Kirk.
That is
Nice.
the absolute worst. When you go for the net shot a little too early and it just gets away from you, you think, oh.
Do they get off? They get off quite often if that happens.
Sometimes if you go for them prematurely, I mean, so
Fish
often
on!
the
Fish on. Over in
like
Mark.
they can be hooks.
There we go. Another fish.
They
Fish
can be
for
hooked
Marcus.
they can be hooked so lightly, and if you're reaching for it and you've gone a little bit too early, sometimes you just want it in the net so badly that you just put too much pressure on it and pop, the fly goes. So, yeah, that's the risk there. But what we were saying earlier, Marcus is in a lot faster water, so it's easy for him to fish that quickly because you can imagine every cast that Marcus makes, he's going to finish that presentation before Kirk would because Kirk's water's moving a lot slower. So Kirk has to be more patient. He can't really rush this because, you know, he's still got to let his fly get up there, get down, drift through, and then make the next cast. So Kirk's probably getting one cast in for Marcus's every two. So it makes it a lot harder to fish quickly. So he's got to be quite disciplined and just, you know, trust his technique and his choice of water and chip through it. And he caught a nice one there. So
would you? Is it good in that situation to try and find the faster water if there is some faster nearby? If you've been fishing deeper holes and you know that there's not much about, or you dropped a few, would you head to a faster water to get more casts in, or?
Yeah, you could do if they're in that water. I mean, I'm looking at where Kirk is, and I mean different contexts because I'm Australian and fish a lot over here. But I love nymph below dry as a technique, and that pace of water looks good for it. And the advantage of a technique like that, I mean, he doesn't have the luxury of. I'm sure, like if he had more time, he would be doing more with his water. He's not going to waste time changing rods and techniques now. But you could easily fish that water nymph below dry dropper for the Americans watching, and make a long presentation. And because it's slower, get a nice long natural drift coming down with the nymph and the dry. So you almost have that each way kind of bet, and that's a great option for that sort of water.
Fish on.
Marcus has got another. So that's one good way to approach that situation. Just the change of, if you're not finding him,
fish for Marcus.
You know, change the technique up. You really, like when I approach a piece of water like this in a comp, I jump onto the water, and if I have no idea, you always have a rough idea of where they're going to be because you have knowledge of it or experience on it and something to draw upon. But if you had absolutely no knowledge, the first thing you would do, or the first thing I do, is get in there and you try and fish almost every water type you can see or find quite quickly, so you can get some idea of where they are. So fish slow water, deep water, shallow water, fast water, pocket water. Fish a whole range of it quickly, and you'll quite soon work out, you know, what sort of water type they're in. But with this time frame, it's hard to do, and if you can't work out.
We have now 6.5 minutes to go.
Yeah. And
fish in the net. Oh no. No, sorry. I misheard that.
Yeah, so you're really wanting to fish a range of water types quickly, and then you're wanting to try and fish a few different techniques quickly if you can. That's with no prior knowledge to anything.
Would you spend time changing fly in this sort of game?
Oh, it's a hard one because the bead weight the weight is more important than the fly when it comes to nymphing. I'd
Yeah.
rather the fly weight be correct than the pattern be correct every day of the week.
Yeah.
That is the most important thing for me, the bead color and the pattern. That's more important than, the fly weight is more important than, the pattern or anything like that. So absolutely, yeah, if you're not getting down in that faster water, it's not going to work for you. And likewise, if you're too heavy in that shallow water, your presentation's terrible. So
Yeah.
you're probably not going to catch those fish either. So yeah, fly weight, absolutely critical. You can get away with that sort of water. It all looks relatively similar. So you learn to associate water types with bead weights.
Yeah.
Look at that. Depending on the push of the water, you'd think a few 3 mil beads would be pretty, it's probably a really nice way to fish it all pretty well. But the faster the water, you may want some 3.5s, maybe some 2.5s in the shallower stuff, 2.8. But yeah, it's hard. The weight of the flies is just so important.
Yeah. Looking at Markus now, it looks like he's changing flies or might have a tangle.
Yeah.
In this type of game, you're allowed three rods. Would you set up the 3 rods prior to the game and go, right, I'm just gonna stick with those. I'm not gonna change a fly. I'll just change rods if I have to, but
yeah, I mean, I think you'd have, if you had 3 rods set up, you'd have 3 different setups or techniques rather than fly options.
Yeah.
Depends on the river, of course. I mean, you look at Markus's water, it's very, very, very nymphy. So you may not bother setting up a dry if he thinks the fish are in that water type. Where Kirk is, you might think, oh gosh, I want a double nymph rod, a single nymph rod, and then a nymph below dry rod. So I would be definitely going the technique of setting up a range. Well, when I compete, hopefully later on, I'll have rods with a few different techniques rather than, different fly options or weight options, because the amount of time to change it, you're better off snipping a fly off and tying it on quickly. And you'll see these guys are lightning fast at making a fly change.
Yeah.
So,
I've seen some of these top competitors at the World Championship change a fly and you blink and it's already done.
yeah, like 15 seconds, that sort of zone for a fly change. Yeah.
Fish on.
Fish on.
Fish.
Fish in the net, Markus.
Fish for Markus. Now, is Kirk fishing downstream or upstream there?
He looks like he went down and started swinging down, but he may have pushed it a little bit further across to fish like that seam on the far side.
Yeah.
That deeper water. He's going downstream now, so.
Looks like he's just holding that bank there. Must be a deep ridge going through there or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we walked all the way up and he's walking back down now.
Yep.
Yeah. The good thing about, we talked
3
earlier.
minutes. 3 minutes.
We talked. Okay.
3
We
minutes.
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
We talked earlier about, fishing quickly, finding the fish. Kirk's water's a bit slower. Markus has got one there.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net for Markus.
Fishing downstream and swinging your flies is a very good way to fish quickly, because that current and that drag sweeping your flies through, accelerates the drift. You're going to get a faster presentation than fishing a dead drift slowly down along the bottom there. So I would say Kirk's probably thinking, look, I've just got to cover some water. And as we said at the start, try and find that aggressive fish.
Fish on. I think there's a fish on.
Looks like has he popped him into the net, or has he lost him?
It's still on.
Still on. So you can hear us out there, Markus?
Fish.
Nice fish. Nice. Okay. 1 minute 45 left.
Fish on.
Oh.
Fish on. There must be a little school sitting there.
He's obviously hit a nice little pocket of fish. The water slows up. There's something that's different about it, and they're tight in there. Lovely water, like perfect nymphing water.
Fish in the net. If you can get a chance to hold, if you get another one, Marcus, try and hold the fish up in front of the head cam. Give us a look at him.
Kirk's
1 minute.
making you walk. Kirk's making you walk across those rocks again.
Yeah, he sure is.
How inconsiderate.
Oh, we've got 45 seconds to go.
45 seconds. Do your girlfriends do this for you guys?
Well, I'm single, so I have no option. I have no choice. What about you, Josh?
Yeah, I'll hand them the waiters, just in case. You got a bit of a tangle in the net there. 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
I'm sure that's a silver bead or a gold bead there for Marcus.
10 sekunder.
That was a great whistle, but that's the end of the match, guys.
Time.
Time's up. Now that was a very quick 30 minutes and 13 fish in half an hour is not bad going.
Very good going.
That's sort of based on the same numbers in the last series, I think, with grayling and trout that were caught.
Yeah.
But would you have done anything different to what those guys were doing there, just watching the game?
No. Oh, look, no. I mean, it's very hard. It would be very easy for me to sit back here and say I did something differently. But look, these guys are all amazing anglers and they know the water really well. Yeah, I mean, Marcus's waters and the grayling a lot more conducive to catching them quickly and fishing quickly. Kirk's water looked a little bit more difficult. If I could pick, I'd probably pick the faster Marcus's water there. Yeah. But yeah, so hard to say.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's head on over to Kirk. Hey, Kirk, buddy, how are you, mate?
What's up, buddy?
How's did you miss many fish, mate?
No, I converted both fish that had grabs on. It just the fish just kind of shut down. The stretch would have usually at least produced about 10 and 30 minutes. There's a pretty good trough across that far bank, and they just weren't really biting today.
Yeah. What were the fish that you caught? Were they trout or were they the Colorado whitefish?
Yeah, they were both trout.
Yep.
Both rainbows.
Rainbows. Nice. Well, you made your controller run up and down a fair bit. I hear that
You gotta keep them busy.
you owe her a bottle of wine, I hear.
That's for sure.
Nice. Well, mate, thank you so much for coming down and having a crack in this exhibition match. I'm going to send over to you this cartoon picture for you. We'll head that over to you straight after the game, and we hope you enjoy it. But let's head on over to Marcus.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Kirk.
Thanks, Kirk.
How are you, mate? Marcus.
Yeah.
What do you think of the new head cam, buddy? Is it comfortable?
It's pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me anyway.
Nice. I can see a new look happening here. But how did you miss many fish?
Yeah, I lost maybe 6, 7 fish, I think. I had good takes as well.
Yeah. Did all the fish you caught, they were all grayling by the look of it?
Very hot, grayling.
One brown trout.
One brown trout.
Yeah, grayling.
Nice. Well, congratulations, mate. 13 fish in 30 minutes. Probably not at the prime time, fishing time for you in Sweden, but
They work quite hard.
They work quite hard. Well, thanks, Heath, for coming on board in today's exhibition match and giving up your time and your controllers Same with Kirk's controller. Really thanks for giving up your time, and well done today. We've also sent your picture over to you. We got done by Dave Gibb. I will get that to you straight after the match, and we'll hopefully see you in the Series 2 without these technical difficulties.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Cool, man. Well, we want to say big thanks to both competitors. Thanks, Kirk, again. Thanks, Markus, and thanks to the controllers. And Tom, and we'll head over to Tom. Tom, thanks, mate, so much for staying up all hours of the day. And I hope you're having a scotch there still.
No, I am. My pleasure, mate. Always good being on here.
Yeah, well, thanks heaps, mate, for coming on board. We hope to see you in Series 2. We might try and get another exhibition match happening once we sort out these technical difficulties. But great to see you back on the show. And don't forget, everyone, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and give this video a like, and spread the word about Fly Fish Live. Hashtag Fly Fish Live on your social media. We will have this ironed out, ready to go come Series 2. But thanks again, Tom, and we'll hope to speak to you again soon.
Awesome, Josh. Thanks, mate, and thanks for organising it all.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for your time. All right, we also want to say a big shout out to the behind the scenes man, Brad Gibb from Gibb Flicks. An awesome job, mate. We know this time there's a bit of logistic work back there for you, and we'll hopefully work together with you and get this ironed out sooner than later. And great effort, buddy, coming off a 12-hour day as well. So awesome job. We hope you guys enjoyed this show. Fly Fish Live with the new Headcams, and we only have one Headcam in this game, unfortunately, but hopefully the next game you see will have both Headcams and a lot more to show you guys. So thanks again for watching. From all of us here at Fly Fish Live, we'll see you next time.